Be able to talk while I'm wearing it?
Yes.
Don't
be distracted.
Okay.
Is that an issue? The fact that you are distracted?
Sorry, I'm just getting a message right now. It is. It can be an issue. Actually, in my review, what I was saying is that what I've discovered is that, I think if you think you're going to put this on and it's going to somehow alleviate that problem you've got with your phone where you're always taking it out and looking at it, it just moves that to another place. So you've got to have some self-control when you've got this on.
What do you think of it? We already understand there aren't lines, there aren't queues outside Regent Street, outside Covent Garden in London. Of course, they want you to buy this device online, but do you think people have to try it, test it, put it on before they're going to buy it?
I think people have to be convinced that they need it. I think the biggest problem is you need a phone. When the new iPhone comes out, you're like, well, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to get the newest, best phone. This is something that a lot of people don't even wear watches. So you've got to be convinced that you need something. Exactly. You need something on your wrist. And I don't know that Apple's done that job yet. I think over time, people will discover its features and want to get one, but it's a little bit of a tough sell right now.
Is it the world's best smartwatch? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
And does that say a lot about the competition, or does that say more about the watch itself?
Well, the competition now has something better to copy. I think that's important. Look, Apple is known for taking a product category that exists and making the best version of it. That's not unusual for them as a company. So they've done that in the watch. But this is a space it's nascent, barely exists right now. So it wasn't hard to make something much better because there's only a few decent products on the market.
And they seem to be just catching the wave of it as it starts to build up. We're expecting far more smartwatches to sell this year. But what's the killer app on there at the moment? Probably not yet designed, but what, as it stands, do you like the most, apart from trying not to be distracted?
I think that, for me, the killer app is that on the watch face itself, you get all of these little, they call them complications, and you can put the weather there, you can put your next calendar appointment there, you can put the phases of the moon. I've actually found that incredibly useful for when I'm on my way out the door and grabbing my jacket. What's the temperature? What's my next appointment? Just this quick update on what's happening without having to pull my phone out and check. So I think that, for me, just the convenience of all of that information in one place has been really great.
Are third-party apps useless? As one critic labelled,
I wouldn't say wholly useless, but they are not. I mean, you're not going to read Twitter on your watch. I can tell you it's not a great experience.
Yeah.
It's not something that I can see people doing in the future. So I think that right now the third parties are trying to figure out what are we supposed to do with this, and their first attempts have been not completely successful.
Is it that Apple isn't sort of holding their hands through the process enough, or is Apple quite willing for their apps to be the dominant force for the time being?
I think it might be a little of both, but also it's such a new interface. There's so many new ways of interacting with the watch that it's kind of hard to conceive of what an app should be like for it right now.
What about the panic over the battery life? Joshua, overplayed or not?
I had no panic over battery life, but I charge my phone every night. If you're a person who doesn't put their phone on a charger, this isn't for you because you've got to put it on a charger every time you get into bed.
Who are those lucky people who don't put their phone on a charger?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They must be very relaxed. That's all I can say. But if you charge it every night, I didn't think about the battery life throughout the day. It was not an issue.
In your piece, which I read a few days ago, Joshua, you said that you have to sort of move the wrist for it to come on, and often it doesn't come on when you move the wrist. Yeah. That's a problem, isn't it? Look,
90% of the time it works fine, but when you're trying to check the time or check some information quickly and you've got that 10% window where it is blank, it's very frustrating because, when you're in a rush and you're saying, well, okay, what time is it? I got to get out the door.
So the basic premise of a watch is to be able to tell the time, which you can do with a Rolex.
Exactly.
And for 10% of the time you can't do it.
And that was one of my first observations was, wait a second, this isn't coming on. I've got to do this really kind of exaggerated sometimes to get the thing to come to life.
Not very subtle, and the idea is it being subtle.
Well, that's the thing. It's not subtle, and a watch does one thing really well all the time, which is keep the time. So this is struggling a little bit in that department.
So I'm guessing that you're a bit of an addict when it comes to getting the latest thing. Is that why you bought it, or was it you just wanted to?
Oh no, this was Apple wanted, handed a few of these out for review. I was one of the lucky people on the list. But then the question becomes, I've been thinking the whole time, well, would I go to a store and buy this? The version I tested was $1,000. It's hard to imagine going to spend $1,000 on a watch that in a year there'll be a new version of it.
Because that's my tactic, right? I'm going to leave it for the next iteration.
Yeah.
I want Apple to work with this.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a bit like a tablet, like the first one? Oh, it's a bit clunky, but iPad, then third one, you've got to get it.
Yeah, I do think there's going to be some early adopters, the people who, like, I will probably end up going to buy one anyhow because I just like having the new shiny thing. But I do think some people are going to they're going to wait to be convinced for that second version.
But will it ever replace your typical watch, your Rolex, your swatch?
Typical. Is that your typical?
I don't even wear a watch, so...
I do love watches, traditional watches.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know yet. It's a tough one. I'm torn because I want to go back to my watch that I wear normally, which is a beautiful...
Will you? How soon?
I'm not sure yet. I feel like I'm still testing. I don't know.
You're not wedded to it?
I'm not wedded to it, but I'm not quite ready to take it off.
Oh. It's like a girlfriend you're not sure about.
Yeah, it could go either way. It
Yeah.
could be a breakup or you could head to the altar.
Sounds like my wife, actually.
Well, the girlfriend better start working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, she just woos you a little bit more, you'll be fine.
That's exactly what I need, some wooing watch.